This is absolutely a dream come true.
Do you know what? Every moment is manifestation. So every moment is a dream come true.
Yes.
It's just that sometimes you dream things you like and sometimes you dream things you don't like.
Yes. First of all, my friend wanted me to promise that I mention his name. His name is Andre Hills, and he introduced me to the secret that led me to the law of attraction, and it changed my life. Fast forward to present moment, I've basked in all the manifestations, the experience, the juiciness of life, and interacting with people that led me to this moment.
That collaboration is so good, isn't it?
It's so juicy. I appreciate life more, but I've come to a place where I'm an entrepreneur and I want to be the boss. You know, I'm a soft-spoken person, I'm a polite person, I'm a loving person. But sometimes I think people take advantage of that vulnerability. And when it comes to business or being in a boardroom or in a meeting, I kind of let things go because I don't like conflict. And so I avoid the conflict.
We take exception a little bit. You're not really letting them go. Because when you feel some dissatisfaction in how it's coming down in the boardroom or whatever you're talking about, you launch an intention that becomes part of the mix. And your inner being, who knows that you are the only boss, gets all over it. Because you are the center of the universe. You are. And just because they don't know it, won't hold you back unless you accept some version of their version. And you're not really doing that because you don't like it. That dissatisfaction lets you know, oh, something's off here. They don't seem to understand I'm the center of the universe. You know, somebody said something earlier here today that we thought was really wise. A less secure ghost might get their feelings hurt, but we never get our feelings hurt. It was something like, I don't like to talk to people about you because it gives me grief, because they don't understand. Well, that's all that's happening with you. You sometimes don't want to show your true alignment because if they don't understand it, then it might put an emphasis upon something not quite clicking, and you want to click. This is a mutuality you're wanting to accomplish. This is a clicking you want to do, and everything else will take care of itself.
Right. I kind of knew that, but I guess I needed to hear it.
So you want to talk about that in detail, and we can play it out in a practical way?
Because of my alignment and being in the vortex, I like to meditate a lot. Sometimes I feel a little guilty about...
All right, there are two whiteboards in the back of your business establishment, and one says, thank you for the hard work.
Right.
And the other says, thank you for meditating. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for good timing. Thank you for ease and flow. Thank you for the leverage of the energy that creates worlds flowing through you. Thank you for collaborating with us. We're speaking as the business partners that you're working with. Thank you for collaborating with us and having something to give to the collaboration. Thank you for not being empty when we play. Thank you for coming with a full tank. Still feel guilty?
No. So I have this huge rocket of desire, almost atomic, where... Is
it all right with you if we nitpick just a little bit? By calling it huge, you cast a little doubt on its practicality. By taking the huge part off, which makes it sound hard, and putting, I have this exciting, which puts all the alignment factors back in. It is big, and creative juices are already gathered around it, and you can feel the bigness of it. But we just want to point this out. We've never said this before in this clear way. Sometimes when you find the word big, we want it to be because you're tuned in, tapped in, turned on, and you can feel the enormousness of the vortex that you've created and the enormousness, the bigness, the vastness of the energy and assistance and cooperative components that are there. But sometimes when you use the word big, and others too, you're not describing all of that. You're describing the gap.
Oh, thank you for that.
Ooh.
That's juicy.
And the more satisfied you are, the more there is not a gap.
So, can I elaborate?
Yeah.
The desire is to see myself as an influential figure globally. And I understand there's 7 billion people in the world, and we all have our own individual consciousness, but we're part of the collective. There's still that slight guilt that I feel like I'm maybe putting myself before others because I am a sacrificer and I like to give, but I want to be...
Well, a sacrificer can't give, because when you're sacrificing, you're not in the receiving mode and you don't have anything to give. We can say that better. A sacrificer can give some, but a sacrificer is never in the replenishing mode. So you give until it's gone, and then you're a resentful sacrificer.
Help me with that. Yeah.
Where if you stay tuned in so that you keep being replenished, then there's no ending to what you can give. But you begin to recognize, you see, you can give so much to people who aren't even ready for it. And some of it will get in and some of it will just bounce off. But you're not really giving it to them because they need it. You're giving it to them because you like to give. And so when you're in this giving mode and you're just flowing, then law of attraction just finds those who are ready for it.
So how do I, even though I called it I will go back and do it the right way.
All right.
It's a rocket of desire to be influential in business and philanthropy on a global scale.
Yes.
I meditate, I'm sure, is probably the best option. I guess I answered my own question.
It's the way to hold yourself steady in that vibration. And it's also the way that then, because you are in the receiving mode, the impulses will come, which will cause the good timing and the rendezvousing. We're just going to give you an example. Let's say you've got something really good that you know about. Call it a product that you want others to utilize, whether you benefit from it or not, or whether you benefit from the distribution of it or not, or an idea that you think will benefit them. It doesn't matter what it is you have to give. Let's say that you've got something that you would like others to benefit from. Think about the difference between just sort of marching out there, sure that you've got something beneficial, and trying to contrive ways of getting their attention. Trick them into listening, or stand on your head and do some sort of an interesting thing, sort of forcing it, not taking into consideration whether they're asking or not, or wait, even better. They're asking, but they're not letting it in. So not taking into consideration whether they're in the receiving mode or not. I don't care whether you're in the receiving mode or not. I'm in the giving mode. So you're out there saying, how about this? How about this? How about this? And they're saying, hey man, are you crazy? Hey man, are you crazy? I don't want any part of any of this.
Sounds like Hollywood Boulevard.
It does, doesn't it? It sounds like every Main Street business sector in the entire world. I've got something that you need. No, I don't. But feel the difference between you being in the receiving mode. Therefore, you're tuned in, tapped in, turned on. Therefore, your impulses are going to come, which are going to arrange rendezvous, good timing, with others who are in the receiving mode. And then in this most natural way, a conversation ensues where you're expressing something and they say, oh, tell me more. And you say, well, since you asked, da-da-da-da-da-da. And they say, oh, I like your perspective, da-da-da-da-da-da. And then you say, well, I'm enjoying this conversation. And they say, so am I. When can we meet for more of these kinds of things? They're wide open because they were asking and they were already in the receiving mode, and your inner being knew they were in the receiving mode. That's why your inner being set up this rendezvous, because your inner being doesn't see any points in you giving any presentations to anybody that's got their door closed. Because there are so many people who want to play with you. And just because they want to doesn't mean they're ready to. And your inner being knows who's who. So all you got to do is just tune in on a regular basis and get good at knowing the difference between satisfied and not. And then they're satisfied and discouraged, they're satisfied and angry, they're satisfied and guilty, they're satisfied and shameful, they're satisfied and angry, they're satisfied, but let's just call this satisfied and more. And then all these other things that you want to call all kinds of different things. And so once you get the hang of that, and you've got it, once you get the hang of that, then what happens is rendezvous just keep happening that surprise and delight you. Esther took issue. Abraham, if I'm the creator of my own reality, and if I put all this stuff in my vortex, how could anything surprise me? And we say, because you really don't know the readiness of others. And you really don't know the bigness, the vastness of your collaborative possibilities. And when you walk around a corner and there they are, and you rendezvous, oh, it is so satisfying. Satisfaction on steroids. Something more?
Yes, one other topic. So my mother has been very mentally ill for a number of years. That even as a kid, she's bipolar, schizophrenic.
Everybody is. Just some have learned to restrain it, and they suffer the most of all. Those that just let it happen, they do better. If you haven't consciously become aware of the satisfaction factor, and you are under the influence of law of attraction, and everyone is, and you have an active mind like your mother does, then when she thinks thoughts of satisfaction, they can move to ecstasy and pretty darn quick. And when she has thoughts of dissatisfaction, they can move to agony and pretty darn quick. Now, everybody is that to some degree or another. So the positive aspects of this is that she has a very active mind, and she has a very strong focus, and she's like a dog on a bone. Where she gets hold of something, the law of attraction really responds in a very powerful way. But let's not call it sickness. Let's call it a response to law of attraction, and let's call it focus. Let's not call it something that you need to deal with. Let's call it something that when you're tuned in, tapped in, turned on, you can observe it from a different vantage point than when you're not. We interrupted you.
No, I was going to say she was also a heavy abuser of drugs, but...
Yeah, because when you felt this and you're not feeling it in this moment, and instead you're feeling that, that's painful. If you have never felt that, then you don't take that so hard. But when you're doing both, you see, that's the curse, if there is one. That's too strong a word, but we're just wanting to make this happen faster, of being bipolar, or what are other words for it?
Schizophrenic.
You have quite a few of them, but that's the disadvantage of that. If you didn't have the ability to focus and go all the way here, then when you use your focus and go all the way there, it wouldn't bother you so much. The spectrum, or each end of your stick, has a relationship with the other end of the stick. So if you've experienced ecstasy, then you can't stand the agony part.
So the root of that, the question is, how do I nurture a relationship with her because of that disconnect?
So when she's experiencing the painful to her part of it, painful because she's in the focus that she's got in the moment, she's cutting herself off from what she really wants. She's focused in opposition to what she wants. Better said, she's focused in opposition to what her inner being's focused upon. You can help her by focusing toward what her inner being's focused upon. You can help anybody, even hard cases like this, by always looking in the direction of what you believe they want. You help no one when you look in the direction of what you know they don't want.
I'm done.